What's up, everybody, and welcome to your one-on-one session online. So this is going to be the not your average Baddie lesson. I'm not going to go in as depth as I would if it were an in-person class, but I'm definitely going to go step by step so that you know what you're doing and you feel comfortable. You can rewind as many times as you would like. No rush. Take your time. It's literally all about your process. This is your time to practice. This is your time to learn. And I'm just here to show you what I know. To get started, the first thing that you want to have done is clean your face. Okay, you should have washed your face, so you should have a nice, clean, fresh face, right? And before you put anything on your face, you want to put moisturizer. Always, always, always prep your skin before you apply makeup. It helps with the longevity of your makeup, and it also just helps the appearance of it as well. So I personally like to use the CeraVe moisturizing daily lotion, but whatever your skin type is, I have oily skin, so a lot of products I use are more oily skin based. But whatever your skin type is, whatever your preference, use that moisturizer and wait at least 10 minutes, okay? So it can fully absorb with the skin and your skin can be nice and prepped, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off my glasses. And I'm just gonna show you what your brush set looks like. You have a beauty sponge. I suggest that you dampen it, fully submerge it in water, squeeze out the excess so that it's nice and bouncy, and not too wet because that can really mess up your makeup. You have a foundation brush. This is a concealer brush or a powder brush. This is an eyeshadow brush, and this is a blush brush. Now, although these brushes have names, that does not mean that you have to use them for their intended purposes. I like to use this brush for blush as well as the overall face. I use this for foundation if I have a cream contour, even a cream blush. I use the concealer slash powder brush. I prefer using it for powder or for concealer because I personally like how brushes look. It gives you a more coverage look, full coverage look. But you can also use this to wipe away the powder from under your eyes when you're setting concealer under your eyes. And this is an eyeshadow brush, but it's very dual use. I use it for eyeshadow and I use it to contour my nose. So I'm going to show you how to successfully use these. Definitely use your sponge for foundation and for blending in concealer, things like that. And then that way you can use the brushes to use the powder bases to set everything. I'm just going to go step by step in detail of all the products that you should have in your kit. So now that your skin has been prepped and the moisture is absorbed into your skin, you've waited your 10 minutes. You're going to go in with your primer. I love this. This is a very good dupe for the Milk primer, which is a bit more expensive. This is a perfect dupe for it. It's only 10 bucks. My makeup stays on all day. Love it. I like to do at least a dot on the 4 parts of my face, so cheeks, forehead, and chin. Do a little bit more because I don't know. There we go. So, and just like the moisturizer, once you rub it in, you want to, and please make sure your hands are clean as well. That's another important thing. You never want to go in with dirty hands. Make sure your nails are clean and everything. So, you don't want to rub all that dirt stuff on your face. So you have just rubbed everything in. I like to use upward motions. Let's prevent the sagging, early aging, ladies. Okay. Just boom. And it is kind of tacky, kind of sticky, but I really like that because that means that the makeup is adhering to, your face. I also like to just prep my lips a little bit, so I'll go with Vaseline, or if you have chapstick, whatever you want to do. Now we're going to get into the eyes first. And again, you can go back as many times as you need to watch this video. You go at your own pace. Rewind it as many times, slow it down if you need to, but this is for your learning purposes only, okay? No rush. I just talk really fast. All right, so I'm gonna go in with my Morphe eyebrow pencil. It has a spoolie and the pencil on both ends. You do have a eyebrow pencil as well. It kind of looks like this. They're all very similar shaped. So it'll have the cover, simple like that. And then one end is the spoolie and the other end is the pencil. I like to just go in and brush my eyebrows out first. I'm going to just outline the shape of my eyebrow. I'm not going to fill it in yet. I just want to outline it. So I like to personally start from the top or from the front of the eyebrow and just shape it. And it's okay if you overline it a little bit because you're going to clean it up with concealer anyway, but just be very careful and very light. When you're doing your makeup, you want to be very light-handed, like you're painting, just very dainty, soft, because being too heavy-handed can make it look muddy, it can make it look cakey, it can make it look smudged, like it just doesn't give the look that you want it to. So it's nice to be very just soft and dainty and just very light, okay? So we're gonna go in with the eyebrow. So I'm just following the natural shape of my eyebrows, right? So now I have my baseline, and then I'm gonna go up top and outline the shape, top of the brow. Boom, okay? Now, when you are doing your eyebrows, you don't want to get any product or anything on your eyebrows because the product tends to stay on better and longer when you just have clean, dry eyebrows. So if you want, you can do your eyebrows before you prime your face to help just avoid rubbing it in all over your face. Or you can just do it after, like I'm doing, do the primer first, just avoid your eyebrows. Okay? So you just outline the shape. Boom. Okay? So now we are going to just do light strokes to fill it in. Again, you don't want to be heavy-handed. Just very light. Okay? Very light. Very light. Sorry, I like to watch movies when I'm doing my makeup, so apologies. But yeah, just very light-handed. Okay? Because you want it to look natural, but still like it does the job. You know, makes a statement still. So I personally avoid the front of my eyebrows. If you draw, so I'll just show you as an example. If you just follow the shape and just kind of draw it boxy and fill it in like that, do you see the difference? How this is more boxy, just looks really drawn on versus more soft, natural. You know what I mean? If you do like thicker, fuller eyebrows, and that's your preference, by all means go for it. There are really no rules to makeup. It's really just kind of steps. And how once you get the groove of things, you're going to figure out your own process and how you want to do it. And that's really the beauty and the joys of makeup. Like, that's my favorite thing about it. So there are no rules. You do it how you want. I personally prefer softer brows. So if you find yourself having, you know, drawn it on too dark or too heavy, I'll go in with the spoolie side and I'll just kind of brush out the front a little bit, as well as just blend in the other so it's not harsh. We don't want any harsh lines on our face. Okay, so you see how they kind of softened it up a little bit? So that's what we want, right? So now we are going to outline the brows. So you're going to take your concealer, or if you want it super natural, you can just use your foundation, but for tool purposes, we're going to go in with the concealer. Okay, so your concealer is always going to be about 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation or your natural complexion. That's where the sun naturally hits your face and where you're, you know, brightest. And that's where you want to really just highlight your face. You know what I mean? So I personally like going in, and this is how I do it. I wipe off all the excess product off of it. And hopefully this focuses. So it kind of looks like this. Just very, very clean. You're going to, and you see how it's kind of shaped kind of like a lipstick or a lip gloss applicator. So now that the tip is free of excess product, I'm going to take the applicator, and it helps if you kind of tilt your head up a little bit and you just follow. Now it's wherever you want to start. If you like to start at the front, that's totally fine. If you like to start in the middle like I do, that's fine as well. Wherever you want to start, totally fine. Okay, I personally like to start in the middle. It just helps me get better control. So I hold it like this, kind of like, you know, like a orchestra coordinator, or whatever it's called, you know, conductor. Okay, you are the artist, and the makeup is your instrument. All right, so you're going to just outline. Take your time. It is no rush. Okay. Boom. All right. And then you do the same thing on the other eye. Take your time. No rush. Just follow the natural shape of your eyebrow to clean up any pencil that, you know, went over. So now what I like to do is I can make sure again that there is not any excess concealer on the applicator, and I just take the remaining and I very, very lightly outline the shape of my eyebrows because I like that clean, crisp look. You know what I mean? If you do not want a sharp, you know, clean, just really bold eyebrow look, you can skip this step. Okay, you do not have to do this. This is just my preference. So I like to personally just outline the shape of my brows all around. Just gives it a very clean feel to me. So I just honestly just kind of do the ends just very lightly, just to, you know, and just kind of drag it forward. See, very, very light, right? Same on the other eye. At this point, you have now achieved your eyebrows, right? So you can take either your eyeshadow brush or your sponge. we're going to use the sponge because it's nice and damp, and we just want to blend everything. So to avoid any harsh lines, you're just going to lightly with the point of the sponge, okay? You can squeeze it for better control, or if you just want to hold it like this, how we did before, like a conductor, that's totally up to you. But you're just going to angle your head up and just lightly tap it in, okay? Don't beat your face, okay? You can lightly just tap it in. And this one helps kind of soak up some of the products. Using sponges helps soak up the product a little bit more. If you were to use a brush, and just for purposes, I'm just going to show you the difference. If you use a brush, it kind of just really gives you more full coverage. It doesn't absorb as much product as a sponge does. So, you know. And you just go in the middle and just soften up those harsh lines, all right? Boom. Now you have your eyebrows. First step done. And that was not so bad. You did great, okay? Now, you may have heard the saying, your eyebrows are cousins, not sisters. If you are lucky to have sisters, identical twin eyebrows, more power to you, baby, okay? I am not that blessed, okay? Mine are very much estranged cousins, maybe even estranged sisters, because, you know, we've been getting together a little bit more, but, okay? But now you have the eyebrows, okay? So now you're going to take your eyeshadow primer. This one has an applicator, but the one you may have either like just a regular squeeze tube, or it'll have an applicator. All you're going to do is you just go on top, apply it. I personally like to use my finger to blend it in. And your hand, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty in the makeup process as well, because you're going to be using your hands a lot, okay? I know that it helps warm up the product, and it looks a lot better on your skin. It helps, you know, it oxidize or, you know, tone down to your skin. So I highly encourage using your hands, your fingers. But again, please make sure they're clean, okay? We do not want to transfer bacteria or germs or anything like that, especially in this climate, okay? It is that season, so we don't want to get ourselves sick or anyone else sick, okay? Oh, now, what I like to do is I like to take my translucent powder, which is also included in your set. It may be white like this, or it may have some tint to it. It's totally, there is no preference. It's really just more so what you like to do. I have given you a tinted or colored setting powder, translucent setting powder, just because I know white translucent powder can be a bit scary, a bit intimidating if you don't really know what you're doing, but this is what I'm here for, and this is what I'm teaching you. So I just take some on the back of my brush, dab it on your hand, and then you just go in and set all over where the concealer was and where you place your eyeshadow. And then you just take the excess in the back of your hand as well. There you go. All right. Cool. This is the Morphe Neutral Territory palette, okay? Now, I really enjoy these palettes. It says 9T. That means there are 9 shades in this palette. So, you have your, you know, creams, your nudes, browns, your little shimmer, and a black. Do not get intimidated by the black, okay? That is definitely something that we can work up to. And I'll definitely be doing more looks. You can follow me on my makeup page, on my TikTok. I'll definitely show you exactly how to use the black. And I may even use it today, I'm not gonna lie. But do not get intimidated, because I promise you it is super duper easy. And it just takes practice. So the biggest thing about eyeshadow is blending. Blends. Makeup in general, but eyeshadow, blend till your ancestors say stop, okay? Blend till the makeup god says stop, okay? You need to blend till you can't blend no more, baby. So I am going to take this deep brown, all right? And what we're going to do, you're gonna just tap off the excess. And if you feel like it's still too much, you can just tap it on the back of your hand as well, okay? And you are just simply going to this helps me apply eyeshadow a bit more. You're just gonna tilt your head back a little bit, and you are going to go just very lightly in that crease. Very lightly, just tap, okay? Tap. You see? Same thing on the other eye. Tap up the excess, and tap. And don't worry about messiness. You're going to clean it up later with the concealer and foundation, all that good stuff, okay? So you're just going to keep tapping, tap, 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 right? So you should kind of have just like a very outlined crease right now, okay? I meant to say this earlier, but if you have any paper towel or anything on standby, you can just simply take your brush and rub out the excess. However, I personally like to build off the excess that's on the brush because I feel like it blends the shadows better. Some makeup artists don't agree with that, but again, this is my makeup preference. There are no rules. So this is just my suggestion and what I feel is easier, okay? So I wiped off the excess, and I'm gonna take this kind of nude, like latte kind of shade, slightly tap off the excess. Now we're gonna go on top of the brown to soften it, okay? So this is the part where you kind of call it the transition shade. So this just helps things flow, makes it smooth so there aren't any harsh lines, okay? Because we don't want any harsh lines. Don't look crazy. We just want to look soft and just like, oh, who's that? You know what I mean? Okay. So all you do is just put it on the top and just go back and forth, very lightly, back and forth, okay? If you wanna, I like swirling. That really helps, you know, blend everything. Swirls. Okay, and do you see the difference? So you see how harsh and kind of dark this is, and this is softer and more blended, okay? Now, if this is good enough for you, you can stop here and then go on to the other eye to blend, or if you want to keep blending, you can add, oh, excuse me, you can keep blending, add a little bit more to really ensure that it's nice and blended, nice and cohesive. And I'm going to the other eye, do the same thing. Okay, just go on the top and blend to the blending gods tell you to stop, baby. You do want to try to get them as identical as possible. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We're going to take, let's go with this shade, okay? This nice, like, cream, I don't know, it's nice nude, all right? So you can use your finger or you can use the brush. I'm gonna use my finger. So I'm gonna take this tap, not that much. You're gonna, again, bend it down, tap it in the middle. Tap it where you didn't put any other eyeshadow, okay? See that? Same thing on the other eye. Take your finger and tap. Now, this side is a bit more pigmented, so that's okay. If it gets too much like that, that's totally fine. You just take the excess on your finger and do it in the other eye. Apply the rest in the other eye. Because again, we want them to be identical. Okay. Boom, right? So at this point, you can take your brush and you can, I like to do just one little thing, like one little tap on the palette, tap off the excess, and just kind of go around on the top so that it blends into the brown, okay? Tap once, tap, 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 tap. Blend it into the brown. Now, you're gonna see me making ugly faces, okay? If you're not making ugly faces when you're doing your makeup, you're not doing it right. Now, that's the rule, okay? All right, so boom. This is a wrap. See, it's very soft, very subtle, very natural, right? So again, take your brush, dab off any excess. To me, I feel like this looks a bit harsh maybe because I don't have any other makeup on right now. I haven't done my eyes first in a while, I'm not gonna lie. But I just like to go in and just blend it out. Just blend it out a bit more so there aren't any harsh lines. So now, this is the part that may get a little intimidating, a bit scary, but just take your time. The one thing I will say about makeup is it's not about adding more, it's about building onto what you already have. Makeup is essentially there to enhance, and if you want to dramatize it and glam it up and make yourself just look like a superstar, by all means, I fully support it, okay? But you always want to start applying small, you know, apply less, so that way you can build on. If you apply too much at once, it can get really messy, it can get muddy, it can get cakey, it can give you the look that you're not really looking for. So you always just want to start small, just, you know, just so you can build onto it, okay? Take your brush. See if I can do this correctly. Literally take the edge of it and tap it one time into the black. Tap it, just 1, 2. Tap it 2 times into the black. Now, with black, you need to be very light-handed, okay? So you see I'm tapping off the excess on my hand, and there's still some on the brush. Black is very easy to get very messy, so be very careful. So you have your product on the brush. You tap off what you feel is you're comfortable with, and literally just ever so slightly touch your head back and tap. Okay. You see? So you see how it's like, it kind of gave you a bit more definition. So this kind of looks a bit more sultry, kind of sexy, kind of grown woman. And this is giving daytime, just really cute, flirty, okay? So the black, I think, adds that bit of just glam, that bit of seduction, that bit of sexy, that you're looking for. And so it's very light right now. So if you want to add more, this is the opportunity and the time where you're able to do so. Now all you have to do is just tap once, tap off the excess, and go back in. Build onto it. You see how it gets deeper? And you want to focus this on the outer corner of your eye only, okay? So tap up, tap that. Boom. All right. Boom. We're gonna do the same thing on the other eye. You already know. The excess. Just be very, very light. Because I remember when I first started out, black used to terrify me. But now, honestly, I love it. Like, it's become a daily product, or not daily, but every time I do my makeup, I'm using black eyeshadow, black eyeliner, something, all right? All right. And again, don't worry about it not looking the same on the outer corner, because you can clean it. We're gonna clean it up later. So definitely take your excess and wipe it off. If you have some alcohol, or if you have some brush cleaner or whatever, I definitely suggest that. But you can just take a napkin and just wipe the excess, right? So now, to kind of deepen it up, but also just tie everything together, you're gonna go back in with this nice deep chocolate brown. Just tap, tap, throw off the excess, and put it right on top of that brown. That black. It kind of softens it up a little bit. You see how they did that? Okay. Same thing with the other eye. Again, once you get the hang of this, you'll be able to tweak the look how you want. You can add more, you can add less next time. If I were going out, I would probably definitely do a bit more dramatic. I want you to really see my eyes. I want my eyes to be the statement. So I may do a bit more, but again, for beginner purposes, we're just gonna do it very nice and light, just sultry, kind of natural still. So now we're back with the finger. Okay, now I like using my middle or ring finger for this part. I don't know, it does matter. I feel like you have a bit more control over your hands. If you want to use your index finger, that's totally fine. But we're gonna use my middle finger, and we're gonna go with, let's do this shade, this nice copper gold shade, okay? So I'm gonna go in, rub it, that's gorgeous. And literally the same thing, just tap. Just tap it. Okay. You see? You're getting somewhere now. You just tap until it is blended together, right? So you can either leave it like this, just matte, no shimmer, or if you want to glam it up a bit, you can definitely do this. I want us to glam it up a bit. Okay. And literally just put it where the that new shade was at first, okay? So boom. And then I like to just take my brush, make sure your brush is clean, just kind of clean up the shimmer edges. Now your eyes are done, right? This is my trick when applying lashes. You may need to cut your lash depending on the size of your eye. Sometimes lashes are a bit too big, and you may have to cut the end. So my trick is I tilt my head back. Do this eye. Tilt my head back, and I match it up to my eye, it matches. So we see how it looks, right? Take some lash glue and you just put it on the band of the lash. Now, you can wait till it gets tacky, or if you're impatient like me, just touch your head back and you're gonna stamp it. So when I stamp it, I mean literally get in the position where you want it and just stamp it. Okay, you see that thin glue line? Stamped, right? So that's gonna get tacky on your skin a lot faster than it would if it was just on the lash band. And this also gets a bit more tacky or quicker, as opposed to if it was just you didn't do that. So that's my trick. A lot of people will outline, like eyeliner, their lash line with glue, but I think this is just easier and less messy. So you just literally tilt, you can see, and just place it. My favorite part, the face. So we've already prepped with the primer, okay? So now you are going to take some foundation either on the back of your hand, if you want to put it on the back of, on top of your palette, and you just clean off later, whatever you want to do, it is up to you. I like to do it on the back of my hands, because I just feel like it warms up better on the back of my hand. So I have the NARS foundation, so all you do is literally just get a nice amount on the back. Again, you don't want to do too much. It is your preference on how full cover, like how much coverage you want. I personally like lighter. I don't like to feel makeup heavy on my face, so I just kind of just very softly so I'm using the foundation brush, and you just kind of just paint it on your face, right? Now you want to avoid your under eyes because you're going to put concealer there and you don't want it to get like too cakey or too much product under there. It can be uncomfortable, it can look cakey, products may not blend well necessarily, things like that. And then just a little on the forehead, kind of around where you did your, clean up the brows. That's why I said you don't have to necessarily outline it with concealer because you're already going to go back in with the foundation, okay? So you can tap it in, blend it. Now I got the shade in the summer, so I was a bit darker. So if that happens, there are a few ways you can correct your mistake. So if your foundation is too dark, you can mix it with your concealer. Just a little smidge, kind of like that. Boom, right? And then, see? It's lighter. That's more my shade. And just blend it in. So I go in with the brush first because again the brush gives you a bit more coverage. If you don't want full coverage, you can just kind of just dot it around your face with either the brush or your finger, and then just blend everything in with the sponge. So literally all you want to do, same thing, is just tap tap tap, okay, until it is blended. Now we're going to go back in with that concealer. I bring it all the way, like you want to just keep it in the inner corner, and then I like to kind of just go like that, kind of edge it up because that gives you kind of like a cat eye look that lifts your face up a little bit. And then so you do the same thing. So again, it's about placement. If you put it too deep, that can kind of wash you out or give you too much of a lighter appearance. It can just really change the shape of your face depending on where you put it. And I'll go more in depth, in the personal one-on-one class, you know what I'm saying? But it's just genuinely all about placement. So again, just inner corner, stick to the inner corner. Then you can bring it down just a smidge. Clean it up. This also helps, again, clean up the eyeshadow as well. I like to do a bit down the nose. You can do it that way, or you can just do a straight line like that. Any excess on the forehead, right? And do a bit on the chin. And if you can also, do it here, but we're not gonna do that today. So I like to take this spoolie and just kind of lightly blend out those harsh lines, because what we're going to do is we're now going to allow this concealer to sit. And when you do this, it allows the product to dry down a bit so that you get a bit more coverage. So even with the sponge, once you go in with the sponge, I like to wait at least like 2-ish minutes or so. Because even like the sponge will just soak it up right away if you go in right now, versus if you just kind of wait. Matter of fact, I'll do it on one side. This side sits, sorry, and this side I'm gonna do immediately. So you'll kind of see the difference, I hope. So you're just gonna, you want to keep blending where you placed it. You don't want to drag it down. You don't want to drag it down like that. You just split on the tap, right? And you just blend until the gods, so your ancestors, put their hand on your shoulder and say, enough. Okay? So look, right here. So boom. So you see? So this is what it looks like with just going immediately in and, blending it versus letting it sit. So now, while your concealer is sitting, you're going to take your contour stick, okay? You definitely want to just do it step by step. Now, you can do this a few ways. I'm going to show you both. You can either draw it, like so. Draw a line down here, then boom, like that. Even put like, draw it on the nose. Or, you can take your foundation brush, tap, or, kind of just do that. Get a little bit on your brush. And if you need to, again, tap off the excess and you build onto it. Whichever is easier for you. I'm going to show you how both look. So, in your contouring, if you feel like sucking it in, fish face helps. You see where that natural hollow is? That's where you want to do it, but you want to do it above that. So, now that wasn't enough, so I'm just going to keep building onto that. I'm right-handed, so. Anything is building. Okay. And you kind of want to blend up. Take any excess, put it on the forehead. Now on this side, this helps to give you a jawline. Kind of blend it into your neck. Just blend to your neck. Tap where you place the dots. Because this kind of just gives you back, it just brings life back into your face. Because once you put concealer and foundation on, it kind of washes you out and just gives you kind of just a straight look, I guess. I guess that's still kind of the word terminology you use, but contouring just brings dimension back into your face. And it also sculpts your face as well. So you see where the line's drawn, and you just go for that. Hopefully you'll be able to see the difference once I finish blending, okay? And again, you blend. So you may use your brush, or you may go in with your, with the other side of your sponge. Whichever you're comfortable with, right? So this has set for a little bit. And you kind of see how much full coverage that gives. And you just blend, baby. I'm telling you, you blend. Blend. And you go back in with the side with the foundation and everything, and that just helps melt everything together. So when you're building, as you're blending out this concealer, I like to just focus on the outer edges first, kind of just get those harsh lines out the way, and then again you keep it where you placed it. Okay, now do you see the difference? How much more coverage that is versus on this side when I just went automatically off the sponge? Yeah. So that's what we want. Okay, and just go down the nose as well. Boom. Again. Just build up. So you can either, and this is where I use the eyeshadow brush that we used earlier, right? So just again, make sure it's clean. I like to either tap it, you know, just a little bit, and you can, that way you can build on the nose contour. So when you're doing the nose contour, your focus is to just kind of slim your nose, just give you a more sculpted look, right? So when you're doing your nose, think of it kind of like just two straight lines. And again, also when you contour your nose, the placement of where you place the contour can determine what shape you get. So if you did, like, for example, so this is just to give me like just a more sculpted, slender, just cleaner appearance, right? And I love my black nose, but this just kind of ties the whole look in together. It gives the face dimension versus if you didn't contour. I like to have them straight down the size of my nose. If you want a more button down look or button nose look, you could even add a touch of contour here in like a little circular motion, and that would give you the appearance of a button nose, right? But for this video, we're just doing just a nice sleek sculpted look, right? And this is honestly the only time I kind of allow the dragging of the brush, but it's still very, very soft, right? Like, I don't want you to just kind of just scrape it, but just literally just very lightly, just, you can kind of see even how I'm just holding it, just very lightly. Boom. But you just mostly want to tap, okay? So now that we have our concealer, our contour, right? So now that we have the concealer and contour on, you're going to take your blush. So you should have either the cream blush or you may have liquid blush. I'm going to show you how both work. So cream blush, or liquid blush, excuse me, is very pigmented. It can be very intimidating because even like the smallest dot gives you that coverage, right? Gives that color payoff. So when using liquid blush, especially with Juvia's Place, this brand specifically, I like to literally scrape off all the excess and put a dot. That's all you need. If you have the e.l.f. Putty Blush, it's a cream blush. This is the opportunity for you to use your finger. I like to use my ring finger. Get it in there nice and, you know, so it helps melt it down a bit. It's a bit more easier to work with and blendable. And you put the blush on the high points of your face, right on top of that contour. So for the cream blush, just literally just stamp it. Okay. Now you can kind of blend it out a little bit with your finger. Okay. Both are very pigmented, so just be careful. Again, I love blush, so I'm a piling on, but you want to be very careful with it. So just start small, just rub a little bit, see how much comes off, and you just build from there. And if you're intimidated by using blush on the first try, please do not do it until you're comfortable, okay? It is no rush, it ain't no judgment. You go at your level and you go at your skill. I mean, at your pace, okay? It's okay. Because when I say I hated blush at first, I was a little traumatized. I did not like blush either, all right? So I take, again, the color. And again, with this, because you've used a bunch of creams and stuff now, you do want to just take a little bit of the excess off. Just go in. And I like to bring it up to the temple. And I just think it just gives that ultimate lifted look. And I just feel pretty. And then this side, you've already kind of blended it out with your finger. just bring it up. I think this one is a lot more beginner friendly. The cream putty blush. It's a lot more beginner friendly because you can definitely, I mean, however much you put on your fingers, how much comes on your face. And even then, it's a bit more light versus this one. You see? So now you have your blush on, and you're feeling like that girl. You're feeling like a pretty pink princess, or whatever color your blush is. So what I will do is, if I feel like the blush is kind of wiped out the concealer a little bit, then I will I'll again just wipe off the excess and just add just a little bit to help you know, tone down the blush, because blush can be a lot. And if you need to tone it down, you can just add a little bit more concealer, again just on the ends, and just let it get, just to let it dry down a little bit before you do anything. So in the meantime, while that's happening, what I like to do is the excess concealer from your sponge, to kind of give you a more sculpted, carved out look, you go right under where you carved out your cheekbone, where you contour. So literally, if you need to make the fish face, do it. So you go just like this. Okay? And then clean it up. So you see how I clean it up a little bit? Okay. Boom. So now, you see how that kind of just tones it down a lot more, so it's not like too in your face or too overwhelming. Okay, go back in and just apply, or you just go back in to blend those together, right? So boom, now we have the base, we have the cream products on and everything, we're good. You're going to take your translucent powder, whether it's white, tinted, whatever color it is. You're going to dump out some on the back, in the top of your setting powder top. Okay, and what you're going to do, you're going to first look down, make sure there are no creases or any lines under your eyes. Okay, so just go in, reiterate your nose contour. Okay, and also you are going to just tap, and what you're going to do is take your powder brush, and what I like to do is I get some, tap off any excess, and I go in and I just first gently place powder. And actually, you know what, I lied. Before we do any of that, you take your setting spray and you spray the heck out your face. Okay, you spray your face. I like to spray as I go. I feel like that helps set everything a bit more. So with this setting spray, you need to shake all setting sprays after just shaking, so that the contents mixes well and it does the job of actually setting your face. So I'm shaking it. You want to hold it kind of far, not too far, but nice distance away, so you're not just drowning yourself. So literally the mist just needs to kind of just touch your face, right? So let it dry down a bit. I like to take the sponge, kind of just press that in. Okay. So again, you're gonna take that setting powder with your powder brush, tap off the excess, lightly set it first. You can take the lightly set. You can see the difference already. Your nose. Anywhere you place concealer is where you want to put setting powder. Okay. Okay. And now, what we're going to do is we are going to bake. Now, you do not have to bake if you do not want to. That's a lot. But you're going to take the powder puff that you have. You're going to see how much comes off. You're going to lightly just kind of press excess. Just kind of like that. You're going to Make sure your face is kind of stretched out so you can not set creases. You just take that excess and you bake. Now you do want to go in the direction of, you know, the lifting of the eyes. So in your corner, all right. There we go. Lift. I have oily skin, so I bake pretty heavy. But again, it's up to your skin type, your preference. And then what I like to do, so see how it's kind of like just the excess of it. I'll take that down the bridge of my nose to kind of just sharpen that nose contour up. And then any excess, just boom. So now we're here. So now at this time, you can either do a couple things. You can set the rest of your face with the other powders, the bronzer, contour powder you have, the blush powder, all of that, or you can just do the rest of your eyes. Sensitive eyes, obviously I encourage you not to do this. If your eyes water easily, if you may think you're gonna poke yourself in the eye, if you're just not comfortable doing this step, you can totally skip it. But if you want to add more oomph, give a more sultry appearance, go in with the eyeliner. So you're gonna take your eyeliner. If it's sharp, super sharp, like fresh out the pack, I suggest kind of rubbing it on the back of your hand so it kind of softens and warms it up a little bit, so that you're not poking like stabbing yourself in the eye with the eyeliner. And then I like to, so if it's easier, you want to have a mirror, if you have a mirror, you can kind of do it that way. But I like to take the powder puff that I have because I don't want to, I feel like if you pull it on your skin with just your fingers, you can take that makeup off. So I like to use a powder puff or a sponge, whichever you're comfortable with, and pull it down and just draw on the waterline. You see? So, and if you're like me, I mean, you can just gently pull it down. We just take that same powder brush and just wipe away all that excess. Be careful not to get any in your eye, of course. Boom, right? So here we are. So now what you want to do is you want to take your contour kit. So either it may be a whole palette like this, or it may have like just a bronzer set palette. But what you want to do is you are going to take your fluffy brush, right? And take your fluffy brush and kind of make sure that it's like pointed. So if you need to kind of squeeze it a little bit, that's fine. You're gonna go in with the darkish or whatever color you really want to use. They're both, one is for contour, one is for bronzer, but again, there really aren't no rules for makeup. You use it how you want it. Nobody's gonna be in your house telling you how to use it, so up to you. So you're gonna take either the bronzer or the contour shade. So for me, the contour shade is going, so this is the rule, or the rule suggestion. Concealer is typically 1 to 2 shades lighter. Contour is typically 1 to 2 shades darker, okay? So I take the deepest color, just the tip, maybe at the tip of the brush, and I very lightly fill it in. And I bring it up. Okay. Like that. So you see how it kind of gives that sculpted look? Because that's what we're going to do. Because we not the average baddie. Okay? Now, do not get intimidated again. You want to build it up. Do not just go in and just heavy-handed and just put it all up on your face at once. Now, you already have the cream blush And honestly, it kind of mattifies after you put it on, so you don't necessarily need to set, especially when you already have powders and everything else on top and you did your setting spray. But like I said, I'm a blush girl, so I like to just top it off with the same brush and very lightly just. Okay. And so now what you want to do is you want to go back in with the contour palette. You're going to set your nose. And this, again, you don't want to rub, just tap. Okay, we just here to tap. Just tap, just tap, tap, tap. This is where we're at, right? So we are almost there. You are halfway, not even halfway. You are 3/4 done, okay? So now again, we're going back in with the setting spray, and this helps to take away that kind of powdery look, helps soften everything up and just melts everything together, right? So shake it up, spray. Now, don't do that. I personally like to like wet it up a little bit because again, I have oily skin and I be needing to really secure it down because I have oily skin. So I'll do one layer and one just to really melt everything together and just blend it all together, right? And one again. You're not done with setting spray, so don't think you are. All right, so now just let it air dry a little bit. A trick I like to do is now you take your beauty blender and just slightly 3 sprays. Okay, there you go. Be a bit wet, so you just want to tap off the excess again. And now you are going to just lightly press that into the skin. Boom. At this time, you can now add mascara. Be very careful. I do like a kind of swipe motion because I think that helps get all the hairs better. And if you mess up, if you get mascara on your lash line, like I just did, the trick is to let it dry completely. And all you gotta do is just take a little Q-tip and just flick it off. And I'll show you how to do that once it dries down. So now we are moving on to the final stretch, right? So now the lips. So you can take off that lip prep. Your lips are dry. And you're going to outline your lips with the brown lip liner. Again, don't be intimidated by this. You're just simply literally just following the shape of your lips, okay? So if you want to just keep it natural shape, you just follow like this. Okay. Now let's rub it in a little bit, because it helps blend it in a little bit more, right? So I've outlined my lips, but if you want to overline your lips to give it a bit more plumpery, like a more plumper, juicier lip, like I love, okay, you're going to overline your lips. So to do that, this is my trick. I hold my lips in like this. Sorry, I hold my lips in like this. And I'm just going to follow the shape of the line of my lips, right? So and see, literally just flipped it off. Let's try. You're gonna take your lip gloss. You're just gonna go right in the center of your lips. Now at this point, you have that. If you have like clear gloss, you can add that on top if you want to get like the kissable, just juicy plump lips. But at this point, you are pretty much, hold on, last but not least, okay? Oh, actually, before I do forget, so with this palette, again, there are no rules to makeup. So with this palette, you can do a couple things with it. I'm going to take my pinky, okay? To highlight the inner corner of my eye, I'm going to take this shade right here. It's a little bit lighter. Just take it on your pinky. You're literally going to place it on the inner corner just like that. That opens up your eyes. And I don't know, it just gives that extra oomph that the eye look needs. But it definitely opens up your eyes a little bit more versus without. You literally just place it on your inner corner. Add as much or as little as you like. And I'm going to take my powder brush. And we're not going to go in with the copper. I'm actually going to mix of both. So just tap both a couple times. Excess. And to highlight, you're going to go on the high points of your face, okay, of your cheeks. So you just literally just tap. You see that? Same thing on the other end. Tap, tap. And then on your nose, tap, tap. And then just a bridge. You kind of give like an exclamation point down your nose. So it's like a boop and then a boop, boop. All right. And then you just take your sponge again. Now, last but not least, ladies, and take your setting spray. Look at my hair. If your hair is down, make sure it's covered or push to the back. Okay, tie it up. I'm going to spray. And you really want to hold it up because you really want it to stay. Again, and I'm going to actually spray this side now. So you can just flip your sponge. Wherever you have a clean part of your sponge, just flip it. Like do. Really want to. Any excess. And what you're going to do now to really melt that highlight into your skin, really just kind of tap it in. You see how it just literally just melts right into the skin. Okay. And then at this time, you can take your giant brush that you used, any excess translucent powder you may have from your top, whatever, you can just kind of set that all over to kind of help mattify things down a bit again. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the final look, okay? Nothing too crazy. It is a lot of steps, I'm not gonna lie. But again, you can watch this video as many times as you want. You can rewind it as many times as you want, slow it down as many times as you want, play the same part over and over again as many times as you want. Literally just take your time. I am just so honored and just so happy that you guys chose me and selected this package to get a more detailed experience of how to get that base, that just not your average baddie face, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have any questions. If you're interested in a more detailed session, I do have the one-on-one classes available in person. It ranges to about $75 more. But again, you get an in-depth tutorial of the look that you are trying to achieve. I'm helping you as well. I'll let you do one side, I do one side. I'm teaching you about color theory, how to find your correct foundation, how to find the correct concealer, what you need to look for, undertones, things like that. So it is a lot more in-depth. So it's definitely worth your money. I highly encourage and suggest it. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And it has been my pleasure to show you how to become the baddies of all baddies, okay? Not your average baddie, but the baddest of them all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me. Stay tuned for more. And there will be more packages coming soon, all right? Thank you guys so much. I love you all.